And we're live. Hello there, and good afternoon. And welcome once again to the How to Stay Sane in a Pandemic webcast with me, Barbara Scully. We're broadcasting live right now on Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm just watching people clicking on in. You're all very welcome. I hope you've got a comfy chair for the next half an hour or so. And thank you for joining us. I also want to thank people who will watch this back at a later stage, because I know plenty of you do that too. So you are also equally welcome. And finally, I want to also welcome listeners to this program on Dublin South FM. This program goes out on Dublin South FM every Saturday at 3:30 in the afternoon. So if that's how you're listening to us, hello, and you are very welcome as well. If you do enjoy these webcasts, I'd love you to spread the word and share the links across whatever social media platform that you're watching us on. I'd also remind you that if you want to look back on any of the previous episodes, they are all available right now on my website, which is barbarascully.com. So if you're stuck for ways of entertaining yourself at any time, you can click on there and watch back any one of the episodes. I must check how many there are up there now. But anyway, there's a good smorgasbord of interesting people, I think, that you will enjoy. So this week, I am so thrilled to have this woman here join me, a great Irish woman, probably best known still for her RT programs, including Wonder Women, Single Ladies, and Wagons Den, and the legion of mad characters that she introduced us to. Katherine Lynch is a singer and actress. She's also a documentary maker, and she's more recently embarked on a career as a life coach as well. Many strings to this woman's bow. Katherine, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for taking the
Hi,
time.
Laura. How are you and all your watchers and listeners? How are things in this lovely day? It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's beautiful. Well, yeah, it's starting to improve. You seem to have more sunshine there than we do out here in Cabinteely. It's been kind of dull all day, but
Yeah, no, it's very bright here in Temple Bar. I'll have a stalker now that I
excellent.
told them where I am. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
I was sharing a photo actually yesterday on social media that was taken at the Women in Media conference in Ballybunion a couple of years ago. Um, and you were one of our guests down there one year on a panel. Ireland is great for festivals during the summer, kind of from this time of year right through until October. Are you missing the festival scene as well as everything else?
Definitely, I'm missing the festival scene. I'm missing like the likes of Electric Picnic and all that. But having said that, I'm just having flashbacks to that festival. Wasn't that the crack? That was the best festival I have been at. What a bunch of women! I have all these flashbacks of, Miriam O'Callaghan spilling a little bit of red wine on her top and not giving a damn, singing
Yeah.
Grace. You like and myself having a little glass at the bar. It was such a celebration of women, that wasn't it? It was like
And who
great.
did you go home on the train with?
I went home on the train with Nell McCafferty and James Kavanagh, and we stopped off in Dublin. And obviously, James had told all his thousands and thousands of followers that he was on the train. So there was a bunch of kids, like a
Young
big bunch,
ones.
like about 30 kids at the train station, screaming and roaring and absolutely delighted with themselves. And Nell thought it was for her. So we were like, Nell, look at, they still love you, Nell. They still know that you need to go on those trains for us. But
She's a legend.
she's a legend. Also, I did go for a walk with her up to Ballybunion Beach, and she told me all about her affair with Nuala Fuelon. And she said to me, "Will we have an ice cream?" And I went, "We'd have an ice cream." And then she looked in, and there was the arcades, and there was bumping cars. And she goes, "Will we go on the bumping cars?" And I went, "We will, Nell." So I have this vision of me and Nell McCafferty in a bumping car and a melting ice cream. And I was like, when am I ever going to get her back to the girls?
Oh, that's one for your book. Whenever you write your autobiography, that's a lovely story to be included. I know you're a country woman, and you hail from lovely Leitrim, and I know you've spent some of lockdown there, and you've just mentioned you're back in the city right now. What does
Yeah.
place mean to you, and where do you feel? I mean, do you think you'll eventually end up going back to Leitrim full time, or are you happy to split, or what?
I'm very happy to split. I love the variety of going to Leitrim and being here in Tipperbar as well. And I have a little place in Nice as well, which is about pied de terre means you can't swing a cat in French, I think. So it is
Yeah.
time. But I'm dying to go over there too. So I have kind of like three communities. I have my Leitrim people who keep me grounded, keep me rooted. Then I have my creative people here in Dublin and in Nice. So I like to be on the road as such. You know, I never had that urge. I never had to settle down as such. I hate the word. I hate the title. I hate everything about it. I never ever want to settle down. So basically, I want to be settled in myself wherever I am. You know, so I like
You're a real
that.
hippie then.
Total hippie. Yeah, sometimes. I am a bit of a
Nothing
hippie.
wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Come here, tell me when you first realized that you had that really precious gift of being able to make people laugh and be able to mimic and create these amazing mad characters. When did that first become apparent to you?
Well, it like my father used to write comedy for sketches and score, and basically he wrote the comedy, and myself and all my family acted them out. So my mother would be on, if there was smoke in the scene, she'd have a big fat cigar at the side of the stage, blowing it out. So everything about it was funny. The rehearsals were funny. The script was funny. Everything that went wrong was funny. So I saw the power of humor, how it can actually. I think construction is starting outside. Can you hear it?
No,
Oh,
no, we're
great.
good.
Yeah, which is a good thing too. You were here the moment you heard it start.
Yes,
But
another good sign,
another good
another
sign.
positivity.
Yeah. So I don't know whether I ever believed I was hilarious, but I really waltzed with the muse, if you want to put a word on it, when I saw the power of it, the power, the goodness that there is in comedy, the how great humor is and how it can actually work on any level to get you through stuff. And yeah, you can solve a lot of things through humor.
You can. And were you a bit of a messer in school then? Like, were you the one in school who made everybody laugh and were taking off the teachers and doing all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I was and I wasn't. I didn't particularly like school. I liked my
Did you
teachers
not?
and I liked my classmates, but I didn't like the restrictions. I didn't like to be told, well, for 2 hours you have to learn about Vasco da Gama going around the bottom of wherever he went, Africa with it. But so no, I didn't really like school as such. But I did like the people. So I always liked the community things and the conversations. I would say that I probably had ADHD and dyslexia and everything you could possibly throw in label into a basket. So I'm glad there wasn't labels then, or I had to been in a different class. I would have had special assistance.
Well, we're glad you didn't. That it didn't knock any of that creativity out of you. That's for sure. And those productions that you talk about that your family were involved with and that your dad wrote, were they for public consumption
They
or were
were-
they just
Did you ever hear a score? Score. It's like a
no?
GAA thing where it's
Oh, no
just
wonder I didn't hear of it.
yeah. Oh, you Protestant. But
So
yeah, so basically they were sketches written, 6 minute sketches, and there was regional finals, All Ireland. So it was like tops of the town for cultures.
now I get you. Now I understand where you're coming from. I understand now. Oh,
So yeah,
very good.
so we won. We kind of used to win the regionals, and then we'd never win the All Irelands. We come home giving out about the people who won. So, but then again, I suppose the second time I had really dived into comedy was when I joined the wonderful gay scene in Dublin, and I was working in a gay cafe called Small Talk, and the lads in it decided they were going to enter me into Alternative Miss Ireland as Tampi Lillette, who was a periodically obsessed country and western star. Only the gays. And so they dressed me up in red and white gingham, gave me pigtails, called me Tampi Lillette, pushed me into a massive tampon they made. So I burst out of it with two guns saying, "So I'm a little early." And yeah. So that was, and then all of a sudden I was in the red box with 2,500 people screaming and roaring, "More!" And I won that night. And so that that was when the addiction happened, because that was just, wow, this is better than anything that I could ever imagine in my life. Just this adoration and the fun and what you can give to an audience and what they can give you back, and just the community and the forward thinking of it all, and the kind of political socialist journey I was nearly on because of it. So it
Yeah.
all, it was all zygous, and that was me. Off I went.
And I mean, your comedy, I hope you don't mind me saying this, or I hope I'm right in saying, like, there's a real kind of bang of anarchy off an awful lot of what you do. Like, it's almost satirical. You're throwing up, these stereotypes really to be torn back down again, which I think is what makes it so clever with a lot of those characters you did.
Oh, thanks, thanks. And you know what? I've had a bad few years with regards to that, because everything got so politically correct that I was afraid to raise my head at all. And as a
Yeah,
female comedian, it had been bad enough, and then it got
yeah,
really bad. But I, at the moment, I'm kind of been, kind of seeing the light in a way, is that we do need that type of comedy. And there's nothing wrong with being somewhat of a punk, and I'm so tired of virtual signaling and all that sort of stuff.
yeah.
I'm going to make a character that annihilates it.
Good, good.
No, yeah, because it puts us all in a sense in a place of fear, and it makes us all, as broadcasters or actors or all us creative people, we never had boundaries before, and like the boundaries would come natural to us. None of us have the intent to go out and hurt anyone. All we want
Exactly.
you want to inform people what's going on in the world, and create, like we are today, interesting facts about life or whatever. But yeah, we've been kind of bullied a bit by this political.
I totally
Yeah.
agree with you. Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
I think, that whole thing of taking these kind of stereotypes that society has, instead of burying them and not talking about them, what you did with them was actually much more powerful, because it was kind of, if you like, tearing them down to, making them ridiculous because they were ridiculous.
totally, and it was all inclusive as well. So
Yeah,
everything has to be all inclusive, including comedy, or you're not
yeah.
living really. So yeah, comedy has taken a right batter, but I think now, if we've got through COVID, you can get through one of my shows. So
Are you looking forward to getting back out on the road again to do stand up?
I am, and like myself and Warren were even talking yesterday. Warren Myler, he's the the string to me bows, or whatever you call it. And so basically, we were talking the other day, and we were coming up with great ideas, and it was great to be back in that room, and to be back, kind of being really positive and not saying to each other, "Oh, we can't say that. Oh no, we can't say
Yeah,
that." And that was never us, and that was never
yeah.
my type of comedy, because it grew itself from the gay scene, from performing at bingo with the fabulous Shirley Temple Bar, Swirly
My
Snow,
husband, my other husband,
her other husband.
my other husband.
So, yeah, he's a fantastic man, and Shirley Temple Bar. It created a great little springboard board for us all to perform back in those days. God, they
Yeah,
are
yeah.
back. Actually, they're 1999.
Whatever,
Yeah, what?
whatever. Time is only a construct. You mentioned Warren there, and he's your partner in Waka TV, which is the television production company that
Yeah,
makes documentaries. And you were behind that series that I know was hugely popular on RTE over the summer, called The Way We Were, which looked back on the way we did various things like holidays and work and shopping. You're also behind Keys to Your Life with Brendan Courtney, that's on at the moment on RTE. So first of all, I have to ask you, will there be any more of The Way We Were? Because I know that was hugely popular. People I mean, I was lucky enough to contribute to it. The amount of people who were both known to me and only vaguely known to me who said, loved it. That was brilliant. I mean, everybody has this big appetite for a bit of kind of nostalgia and sentimentality. So will there be more?
there will be more. There's actually yeah, we're talking about four more. So
Brilliant.
I know one of them is the way we wore, but Marion and one,
Close.
yeah, Marion Cullen is all hands on deck for that one, and she's just such a genius when it comes to all that, great research, great delivery, great kind of pace in the show. So like, yeah, Marion Cullen is the woman behind that. She's something else. So she's mad at work at the moment. So watch this space for The Way We Were.
Great.
Will be out as soon as it's made.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's such good news. Now, talk to me about, because to be honest, didn't realize that you were a singer. And you shared something on Instagram this morning. And I don't know if it's new music because I didn't have a time to go back to it, but I listened to it on Spotify and it was really beautiful. It was kind of jazzy and kind of bluesy. And
It was Blue
talk
Beach.
to me.
Blue Beach, actually.
Blue
Did that
Beach,
work?
that's what it was.
It's really bad sometimes on social media. So
Yeah,
well,
no, you just
must
clicked it and
ignore
in
that.
I went. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was great.
that's yeah. When my father passed away, I wasn't really able to be funny as such, and you still also need a place to be creative. So I went down the route of pulling out my poems and writings, and then I brought them to a beautiful guitar player called Pavel, who's actually Mary Coughlin's guitar or piano player. And we put music to them, and then it built on that and different instruments. And then this fantastic producer called Paul Murphy. Hi, Paul, if you're listening. He produced it for me, and it's possibly the thing I'm most proud of. That has brought me least money, but I love it.
And so that's so people can find. And is it just one song, or have you got a whole load? Or
It's called Settle and Dust, and you can get it on Spotify. So it's I think I
it's a,
pen dated them, and then there's 4 covers. So there's everything from yeah, there's a song about my mom and dad, and there's a song, of course, of loves of my own, loves lost, loves gained, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's an album about love and loss, and on so many levels, whether it be grief. At the time, it was settling dust, and we just come through a massive recession, and I felt that the dust was settling in the city, and I think that's kind of what's happening now again. So
yeah.
I kind of retreat to that part of myself when the chips are down, because you don't want to get sad, you want to get melancholy, because melancholy has a way out of itself, and it's a far warmer blanket than sadness.
I
So
love that.
yeah.
I love that. So people could find that. Give us the name of the album again
Thank you. Settle and Dust is the name of the
on
album,
Spotify.
Spotify, yeah. And
Fantastic.
yeah, so I
I'll
get
certainly be listening to the rest of it because I loved what I heard. That Blue Beach, was that what it was called?
yeah, I wrote that on that's the beach in Nice, and I wrote it in a fur coat and sunglasses on the beach in Nice.
As you do when you're
That's
in
it.
Nice.
You'll have to
Of
come
all
with
the
me.
hats that you wear then, of all your different literally hats that you wear, um, which one is closest to your soul? Like the comedy, the poetry, the songs, acting, creating content, documentaries. Which one is the one that's really etched in your soul?
I think that the creating of song is the closest to my
Really?
soul, but the most exciting one is the comedy.
Is
But
it?
it's a dangerous friend. It's the one that'll
Yeah.
bring you. You're out for the whole weekend with that friend. You're in by
It's
the
worse
fire.
than going on the Dodgems with Nell McCafferty and a melting ice cream.
So with the comedy, you're out for the whole weekend. With the songs, you're in by the fire. So it's kind of parts. Oh, with the TV, you can just sit back and watch and let all the brilliant people around you do their jobs, and yeah, they're all
Lovely, love that. So talk to me then about your latest incarnation then and what you've been studying during, I think you mentioned during lockdown, you've been busy reinventing yourself again.
yeah. Well, you know what? It was life coaching. I had started it before the pandemic hit us, and it was brilliant because it was Zygust, and I ended up having a wonderful time myself, because we were on Zoom, we were online, and with all these lovely like-minded people, and we had a great rapport with each other, and we'll always be bonded now because we actually life coached through the pandemic. So
Right.
it's great. I love it, and I love the power of it. It's a very simple tool, really. It's just pointing people's strengths out and telling them go use them. So not telling them, coaxing them to go use them, gently coaxing them to realize the power within themselves to go use them. You know what? I'm not politically correct about life coaching either. It's basically, you're good at that, go and do it. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
not now, then when, and all that sort of
But
stuff.
it's sometimes, I think for all of us at different points in our life, it's sometimes very important to have somebody who we're not related to and who doesn't love us, because those people will probably tell us we're great and we should, pursue all kinds of things, and we don't believe them because we think they're coming
Yeah,
from a place of just, whatever. But I think it's very useful for all of us to be able to have somebody to go to who has nothing to gain by telling you to go in a particular direction or pursue something or look at something. Because I think sometimes, you need somebody who can see the wood instead of just seeing the trees. Whereas when you're down in yourself, you can't really see the bigger picture.
exactly. That's the truth. And somebody to champion you is
Yeah.
uh, it's great, and that they have no agenda, So yeah, I get exactly what you mean by it, and it's just like to have somebody you can check in on that's not going to judge you. Is just going to really want the best for you. It's very
Yeah.
rare, and I think that's as simple as life coaching is, So I'm a qualified personal and executive coach, so I can do it both in personal life and in your business life, So and they both merge, no matter how we try to separate life and business. They both connect and they both affect each other. And I
Yeah.
did a talk to the Fingal, isn't that how you say it? Fingal
Yeah.
women. And I hosted about 100 of them online, and it was
Wow.
called Wonder Women. And so, like, it's not that it's going too far away from my own product, which is, making sure that
Yeah.
the society women, that women have, strength and confidence, and because we have to work at that daily. I know I do anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I absolutely agree. But I think it's interesting, as you say again, I think your timing is probably impeccable, because I think following this pandemic, a lot of us and society at large is going to go through quite a change as we try and get back to whatever normal it is that we're getting back to, because I think nothing is going to be the same as it was, and
no,
that'll make some people feel quite unanchored and uncomfortable, whereas other people may embrace it. But I think it would be, I think that life coaching is something that a lot of people may find,
yeah.
as you say, both in a corporate world and individually, that is very useful as we try and kind of settle into whatever changes that we're going to make long term going forward.
I know, and that's it's like basically, I think your need as a life coach is to just help people out. I could put up a big blurb about how fantastic I am and all that, but I've made all the mistakes that every woman who comes to me has made and more, because I
Yeah.
have my baggage. I have a lot of baggage, Louis Vuitton, obviously, but I have a lot of baggage.
Obviously, if you go to Nice, you have to have Louis Vuitton luggage and
Yeah,
baggage. I'd
that's
be
it.
disappointed if it was anything less, girl. Very disappointed.
Oh
Come
yeah,
here. Are you a reader?
I am. Yeah, we got ourselves a reader. I I am. I'm reading Christine Dwyer Hickey's novel, The Narrow Land. Oh my
which
God! Have
which
you
one
read
is
it?
it?
It's The Narrow Land by Christine Dwyer Hickey.
No, I've read others of hers, but I haven't read that one. And actually, yeah, I
Then,
I need to get my hands on that. Yeah.
yeah, she's won the Walter Scott Prize for it, and she's an Irish writer. I think that she is our best living Irish writer. She won or she not won, but she was the one book, one city Tatty. Um,
Yes, that's the one.
is-
That's the last one I read. And I read others. She did one called The Women or something as well, I
yeah,
think, was it?
she,
And I loved that. She's a
it's
great writer.
she's a great writer. Yeah, she'd be great on this show actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's amazing. I think she's brilliant, brilliant, and I love reading her. And who else am I reading? I don't think I've been reading a lot of like the Chimp Paradox. I'm reading at the moment.
The
So I've been reading
Witch?
the Chimp Paradox. It's all about the way we think. The person in our brain that keeps telling us, "No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that." So it's how to get rid of him or her. Well, I call him
Or
a him.
her?
Or her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that something that you think affects women more than men? That voice that undermines us the whole time?
I wonder. It's a good question. Is it like that's a
I've
great.
never heard a man talk about it, and I've often heard women talk about it.
It's
And I
true.
definitely think, as well as that, women suffer from the old imposter syndrome more than men as well, of feeling that we're not good enough, or, what are we doing here? We shouldn't be here. We don't belong here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the whole hens in the yard type thing. Click, 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 click. You know what I mean? Whereas the rooster comes in and he's delighted with himself. The,
Exactly. Cock of the hoop.
hey!
Yeah.
You just have to
Yeah,
be
for
the last
sure.
hen.
And listen, are you one as well for, what do you listen to? I mean, if you're out walking or you're doing your housework, do you listen to radio? Do you listen to anything? Do you listen to
Um,
music? Do you listen to
the
podcasts?
podcast, I listen to music. I'm listening. I love Darren Gahary's. Darren Gahary's. It sounds like an African name. I love her. The Last of My Life. That's a very good podcast. And I'm listening to Stella O'Malley's Gender a Wider Lens at the moment.
Oh, right, yeah. Stella's
That's
great, yeah.
really interesting. And she opens up conversations. Some you'll agree with, some you don't agree with, but she's brave enough to open them.
Yeah.
So I love that. And
And
then
that's going back to what you said earlier about us not being afraid to have conversations, that can be difficult. As you say, you mightn't agree with all of it, but it's important that we listen and we have those conversations.
yeah,
What's
absolutely.
Stella O'Malley's podcast called again? Gender?
Gender a Wider Lens. That's a really.
Brilliant.
And then I listen to Sean Keane a lot when I'm walking the forests in Leitrim, because he is possibly it's like walking with an old oak tree that's singing to you beside you.
Yeah, very good. And come here now. In the evening, would you be a Netflix watcher, or what do you or do you watch movies, or
Yeah.
have you any series that you think we should all be watching that has captured you?
Have you watched Shizel, the Orthodox Jews?
No,
Oh,
no. That's on Netflix,
yeah,
right?
you'll love that. It's
I must.
fantastic. So that and Call My Agent, they have been the best two things I've.
Oh, I didn't call my agent just amazing.
Isn't it? That is
I
just
love that show.
quality. So yeah, I love that.
It's
And then if I'm feeling like I want a glass of wine and nobody's looking, I'll watch the Housewives of Beverly Hills. They are such witches. So you
I
realize
haven't watched that for ages.
they're such cows. So they're so mean to each other. They're so vain. They're so everything. So they make me feel like a better person. It's like Jeremy Kyle on acid.
They're all great. Actually, the reason I haven't watched that one, what's it called, Shitzel or whatever you said on
Yeah,
Netflix, the first one, is because I've got stuck down the rabbit hole. I'm one of the very few people who missed Line of Duty as it was airing.
yeah.
So, and I was kind of asking on Twitter, can I just watch this series that's on BBC, or should I go back? And everyone's saying, no, you need to watch the whole lot. So thankfully, RTE put it up on the player. So we have made our way slowly. We're now currently kind of about midway through season 5, but I am absolutely obsessed. And I am somebody who hates violence.
Yeah.
Can't, like, there's scenes in it where I have to go like this and tell my husband, like, let me know when that's over, when that bit's
Yeah.
finished. But I'm obsessed with Ted and with Kate and whatever his name is, Steve. I just think they're brilliant. I think the writing is great and the characters are super.
I'm going to have to watch it because I haven't watched 1 second of it. And
Oh, you do need to. I mean, once you get over the kind of, now, I mean, I know some of it's formulaic, but it's got plenty of texture, and it's also quite funny in places.
yeah, and
Um,
Brian, you see, I lived with Brian Kennedy, and Adrian Dunbar is a really good pal of his, and he's been in the kitchen plenty of times, and I'm like,
Ted.
no, but I'm like I haven't seen him now since Line of Duty, but I'll be like, oh God, I haven't seen one word of it. Like, I'm too embarrassed if he turns
You
up.
better catch up, girl, in case he lands into your kitchen. You better catch up.
It'll be
And he
Brian.
has all of these brilliant Tedisms, these brilliant phrases that come up through the show, and he's really, I'm sure a lot of those are ad-libbed, like that he's added them himself, and they just make it such an enjoyable watch. So yeah, I was cynical about watching it. I was kind of like, I don't think this is for me, it's going to be, but actually it is absolutely brilliant. I am
If I
completely
heard
obsessed.
one of them was Jesus, Mary, and Joseph and the little donkey. Like, that's something like our mothers would say.
And the other one he says, which I heard when I was working a million years ago with a woman who was very much a Dublin woman, but he says, I didn't come up the lagan in a bubble. And this particular woman used to say, "Do you think I came up the Liffey in a bubble? I didn't come up the Liffey in a bubble." I was like, "What does that actually even mean?" But
Oh,
it's obviously quite an Irish phrase that is bandied around a fair bit, you know. But Jesus,
what's
Catherine,
made.
you know, if you get Adrian Dunbar in your kitchen again, you better at least take a selfie and stick it up on Instagram.
In Brian Kennedy's kitchen, I
Oh,
must.
Brian.
It's Brian's kitchen he goes to because I used to live with Brian for about 5 years. So all sorts of people came through that kitchen.
I'd say so. Did you ever think of writing an autobiography? I'd say you've great stories.
I don't think anyone would be interested in my life. They
But
won't
your
even have me.
stories.
They won't even have me on Keys to My Life, and it's my company. They don't think I'm interesting enough. I haven't made.
You
Like
need to see a life coach about that to become
I
more
have
assertive. That's what you need.
hair day.
So that you can
Yeah,
insist that you're going to
and
be.
you
Well,
write
maybe
up
we
my
should start a
whole
campaign on social media saying we want Katherine Lynch on Keys to Your Life.
I do, yeah. Can you imagine? I'd be sitting crying in a corner for the whole lot of it. It's brave people have to do that. But
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a lovely series as well. I mean, it really is
oh,
because again, you get an insight into these people that we all think we know,
yeah.
and you get a great insight into them. You know that
And Brendan's
that you,
such a
you wouldn't.
gentleman. He's so much fun. I know Brendan for all my life. He's well, all my Dublin life. I know Brendan 25 years. He was there on the night I won Alternative Miss Ireland. That's how long I
Of
know him.
course, he was.
And Declan handed me the crown. Shirley
Did
Temple Bar
he?
was the
Oh, of
previous
course,
year.
he was Alternative Miss Ireland as well. Yes, of course.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
forget
did
that. You see, I've never met Shirley Temple Bar, so
no,
it's one of the. I never met Shirley Temple Bar, so it's one of the things that I have to rectify as soon as everything comes back to normal.
we're going to bingo.
Um, Bingo for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, we're going to have to leave it there because we've just run over a little bit. It's such a joy to see you. It's great to see you. And Catherine, thank you for taking the time, but also continued success with all the things that you do. Laterally with what I've
Barbara,
just discovered, your music and with your life coaching. And can't wait to hear from you from on a comedy platform again as well when
oh,
things go back to normal. So stay
oh,
well
thank
and
you.
thank you very
It's been a
much.
pleasure, Barbara. Love you lots. Okay.
And you.
Bye.
And listen, thanks to everybody for joining. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. I always do. And I'll be here again next Wednesday. I'm going to take a break over the summer, but I will be here next for all of May. And I have some more great guests coming up. So I'll be here next week at 4:15 live on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. And I hope that you'll join me then. Stay well. Bye bye.